Audio Jungle. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the daily life of engineers. I am Summer Kate Vilala, your program host for today. It's another day and another exciting topic that we will be learning for today's show. Here, virtually, we have our guest, Engineer Jamel Tabayag, Engineer Raymond Dumao, our blaster Abing Muñez, and our chemist Diana Villalon. Welcome, ma'am, sir. So, for today, they will be explaining to us their plan about the demolition of the old abandoned apartment in Barangay Encantadia and what element they will use for the action. Sir? Engineer?
Greetings, fellow engineer, and to the people who are watching the show right now. I am Jamel R. Pitabayag, the demolition engineer assigned to this project.
I am Raymond V. Dumaog, Engineer Jamil Tabayag, partner in this project. We were assigned to demolish an abandoned building of apartment in Biringan City, Barangay Encantadia, with measurement of 50 meter by 12 meter width and 21 meter of height. And we plan to use the explosive chemical compound ethylene dinitramine, is also known as halide.
Engineer, I have a question. What is the reason why you have to demolish the building when that building stands for a very long time that we can consider it as a heritage of the city?
Sadly, the building wasn't sold to the government and was bought by the private company. And the plan is to build a bigger and taller with a strong foundation building that will last for a couple of decades.
Aww, that's so sad. But, Ma'am Diane, what is this explosive compound that engineer has mentioned? What do we call that? Ethylene dinitramine? Am I right? That you will use to demolish the building? Huh?
So the type of explosive compound that we will be using is ethylene dinitramine or EDNA. It is a type of chemical compound of nitroamine class and its chemical formula is C2H6N4O4. Also known as halide and dinitroethylene diamine. Its purpose is for us to demolish the building as quickly as possible without wasting time. However, it might cause risk for the safety because an explosion direct or major effect on human is a sudden increase induced by the blast wave. That's why it can cause harm to human organs like the ears and lungs, which are pressure sensitive, but rest assured that we will secure that no one will be harmed and everyone will be aware of it.
But this year, I've handled 2 demolition projects, and the latest one was just last month. And I've noticed that your project was kinda similar to my latest one. It was a 7-story building and quite abandoned as well. And in order to reduce the time engineers would consume with the demolition, they decided to utilize building implosion. And my team decided to use a normally deflagrating explosive since the project had a high degree of confinement. And it was great. The project was a successful one.
Yes, I agree with the chemist. We choose this chemical in order to avoid time-consuming workloads, but don't worry about the neighborhood. We rest assured that they are safe, and if something bad happens, we will take actions.
Also, talking about everything will be safe, we will inform the neighborhood first about the actions about the demolition. And we will make sure that our safety protocols are strict enough to make everyone safe before, during and after the explosion.
But you know what? There are a lot of factors engineers and we blasters need to consider in order to customize the project's demolition process. These factors include the degree of confinement, which I stated earlier, the possible hazards such as flammable materials and its exposure to noise and dust, what the building was made of, and a lot more.
Explosives are compounds that undergo a quick oxidation reaction that resulting in a significant amount of gases. That is why we must ensure and know the potential hazards of substances we will be using and make preparations properly. We must ensure and always prioritize human safety and health while protecting the environment.
Wow! Using chemical explosion for demolition is so rare here in the Philippines, am I right? But now that we are informed about how effective it is, but with proper protocol for safety purposes and with the advice of the professionals, of course, this might be a new way to make demolition in our country easy and not time-consuming.
That's why we choose the explosive ethylene dinitramine to bring down an abandoned building. It shows that we need 315 moles of the compound in order for us to provide the necessary explosive force.
Meanwhile, since 315 moles of the compound will provide the necessary explosive force, we need to know how many pounds of ethylene dinitramine will be used in order to us to bring down an abandoned building, by solving it using stoichiometry that will be presented by the chemist.
So, it is important that we should know how to solve this kind of situation or reality situation about finding this kind of explosive compound and solving it using stoichiometry. So, before we solve stoichiometry, we should know first that it is important for us to know how to compute and solve for molar mass. And remember that molar mass unit is grams per mole, and we should know also how to convert grams to moles, moles to grams, and grams to pounds. And after that, we will focus on the problem since it needs 315 moles. But whenever we want to buy at the store, it doesn't credit 350 moles. So, we need to convert it into grams. And based on the question, we need to convert it also into pounds. So that's why we will have a two process of conversion. So let's start. The first thing that we should do is write all the given. So our given is pounds of C2H6N4O4 or the ethylene dinitramine. Second given, 315 moles. Next, 453.59 grams. What is it? It is a conversion formula of pounds that we will be using in the solution later. Next, for carbon, we have molar mass of 12.011. Hydrogen has 1.0079. Nitrogen has 14.0067. And for oxygen, we have 15.999. So all of these can be found on the periodic table. And the next thing we should need to do is know what is the formula we are going to use. So we have three formula. Our first formula is we are going to multiply number of atoms to their molar mass, and use the unit of grams per mole as the result of their molar mass. And then the second formula is we are going to multiply the given, which is 315 moles, to the answer of our first formula, molar mass, that will be result on the grams of ethylene dinatramine. And next, the last formula we are going to use is to convert it into pounds. So let's proceed to solution. First formula, we apply it. For our carbon, 2 times 12.01 is equals to 24.02 grams per mole. Hydrogen has 6 times 1.01 is equal to 6.06 grams per mole. For nitrogen, 4 times 14.01 is equal to 56.04 grams per mole. And lastly, for oxygen is equal to 4 times 16 and equals to 64 per grams per mole. And when you add it, you will have a molar mass of 150.094 grams per mole. As you can see in the left side, the 2644, it is called a subscript, or the number of atoms of carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen and oxygen, while their molar mass can be found in the periodic table as I mentioned earlier. So next, since we have already the molar mass value, which is 150.094, we are going to multiply it to the given, which is 315 moles. That will have a result of 47.3 times 10 to the power of 4 grams of ethylene dinatramine. Since we have already the grams, just like what stated in the third formula, we are going to convert it into pounds. So we are going to multiply it to the 1 pound and divide it to given conversion formula of pounds, which is 453.59 grams, and would result to 104 pounds of C2H6 and 404 or ethylene dinatramine. Therefore, we need 104 pounds. In order for us to provide the exact amount in the explosive force in demolishing an abandoned building. Okay?
Then it is settled. The project would need 104 pounds of eDNA for the building implosion.
We would like to thank the Daily Life of Civil Engineers for inviting us. This is a big help and opportunity, especially to those people who doubt our skills.
We are also grateful, and thankful at the same time, knowing that we were able to help our fellow worker in the field.
Yes, thank you for inviting us, and we are glad to be part of the show and to be able to share our knowledge about solving stoichiometry. And I hope you learned a lot today, everyone.
So that was a useful information and knowledge from our guests. I hope you've learned a lot for today's educational topic. That's it. Always remember, keep your hands clean and wear your mask always. That's a wrap. Audio Jungle.